The new EYES of Bayonetta 3 book may have just confirmed that Cereza is alive, all from Kamia's diary entries. And one Reddit user by the name of Froppyx, love your name by the way, you the real MVP, just brought these revolutionary scans about Cereza, coupling it with a brand new theory on this channel separate from this video. Remember this photograph that you do get at the end of the game, who I thought was Jeanne who dyed her hair black, which is now debunked, as Froppyx confirms it to be Luka, at least the EYES of Bayonetta 3 book does. And it does seem like it is Luka with the whole attire and hairdo. Froppy gave us this beautiful 1080p scan. Round of applause for the people who predicted it to be Luka. So when Rodin portrayed that statement of him talking to Viola's dad about Viola's attendance,
you know, I'm the one who has to hear it from your pops when you decide to turn my place into study hall.
It was real, and not some rolling in the grave metaphor that I initially thought it to be. I mean, if this photograph is after the events of Bayonetta 3. As you do see Viola wearing that scarf, this potentially takes place after the events of Bayo 3, when Viola casually sports all of it. But you don't see brave Cereza's glasses on her. So what if this was taken prior the last chapter? I think that would be a smoother explanation rather than just plainly rewriting that Luka can somehow traverse the Trinity of Realities or is just alive right now, even after being visually taken down to Inferno. But then that means there would be no issues for brave Cereza coming back. By the way, shoutouts to MAKAZE and VALEMI for sending me these links and pages. You guys are the real MVP as well. The only problem I had with the whole they are instantly alive trope is why did they have to portray them in such an emotional death and finale, playing with Viola's and our hearts like that, when they were just going to come back anyway? Because in pop culture nowadays, you have to literally see a character's body die to confirm it. In Bayonetta 3, we see brave Cereza's watch break. We see Gamora continuing on his contract with the witch, and even being both of them being dragged to hell in such an emotional and musical manner. We even see Viola crying about it, which now that I think about it, if we did it for Jeanne in Bayonetta 2's timeline, what's stopping us from doing it in the next game? It's only a little annoying that they are making us wait potentially 2 to 4 years for the continuation. This is why I developed the Save Cereza theory, where Jeanne devises a plan to restore the eyes of the world to reverse all the deaths of every Cereza. So it has this dramatic mission that doesn't take away from Bayonetta 3's ending, and it restores the Cereza that we know and love. And that way everyone's happy. But for the sake of this video's idea, let's assume this picture takes place after the events of Bayonetta 3. Luka is alive, and Anna Brisbane's hope for a rescue mission is going to happen.
I know you are keen for a rescue mission. It's one of my favorite comments on the channel. I will frame it. I will cherish that comment forever. But I want to know, do you have any other vision? And I know you spoke about it a little bit for Viola's next adventure. Any kind of vision you have?
That's the complicated thing.
This takes me to the next translation post from the EYES of Bayonetta 3 book, but take this with a grain of salt. I've yet to see the actual page where this is translated from, but Froppyx referenced Kamia's take of the whole Bayonetta death situation. In this film, we also get to see her in her casual clothes. I have never had a chance to depict her personal life, but it was necessary to show her daily life in order to highlight the extraordinary disaster that the girls are facing this time. That's just a front. Wow, okay. I wanted everyone to see it, and I wanted to see it too. I'm sure Bayonetta is somewhere in the new world today, dressed in fashionable attire. I would love to draw her new adventure story again someday. Bayonetta will be immortal forever. Wow. Alright. That sounds promising. And remember, it's still just a text box as of this video by Froppy, but if it is true, Kamia just confirmed that Cereza is alive. Or did he? I noticed that he still remains vague even after referencing the casual clothes that Cereza wears. He still doesn't say the name Cereza, quote unquote. Since we know that Bayonetta can be a mantle or a family name, which to be honest, he could even be referring to Viola in her new adventure. Or will the next Bayonetta games follow along that pattern of continuing on in a different timeline? And he's referring to another Cereza variant that has experienced the similar events of Bayonetta 1, 2, and possibly even 3. Or was defending her timeline fighting the conquest that was happening in Bayonetta 3. Which is a little weird if it's another completely different variant of Cereza, since it was implied that Singularity killed all of them. But if they were all restored straight away, as much as I don't prefer that ending, a new Cereza variant is possible. There was also this interesting discussion about the whole new generation hint, shoutouts to Prestigious, Pendergast, and Adon, where they discussed the possibility of the next Bayonetta games being run on the literal next generation console, which can imply that the Cereza we know is still alive. But it all comes down to the next point. Kamia discussed that most of us misinterpreted the ending, and after reading these new discoveries and just just plainly, well, thinking about Bayonetta 3 with a clearer mind, was Bayonetta 3 a whole April Fool's joke? People jokingly and memeingly said this months ago, seeing how Jeanne was issued her Gork membership on the 1st of April 2022. But was this intentional for the next games, where they reveal Bayonetta 3 to be a dream, a retcon, or just plainly misleading us with that ending? Even my good friend Anna, who is the voice of Viola, has that in the back of her head going forward about Viola's supposed new mantle.
I'm still waiting. I'm just keep assuming that they're gonna be like, so the response was not very good, so we're gonna backtrack.
All right.
You're no longer Bayonetta.
We are currently in the Bayonetta community in an era that I call the Great Depression. But what if they just come in the next game saying, it's just a prank, bro? I'm rocking and never get disheartened.